Greetings, fellow captains, and welcome back to part 2 of the how to get good. Not get good, how to get good. We're doing this properly. And part 2 is going to be about aiming. Now, for some of you, this is going to be a really basic video, but I think it's always nice to refresh and look over the basics. We will get a bit deeper into it later on into the series and look about aiming specifically for citadels and fires, understanding and learning about the auto bounce and overmatch mechanics of the game. But this is the very fundamentals, the basics that everyone should know, and it's always nice to go back and review them, because in all fairness, we tend not to think about aiming too much, and a lot of people rely on auto-aiming a little bit too much. So just sitting back and thinking about the basics and the fundamentals. So I apologise to my team, because this is in a live game. I tried doing it in AI, but AI just don't give you the options. So first things first, our aiming reticle. We need to understand exactly what is going on here. So we have some horizontal lines with some little vertical dashes. We have a timer, and we also have a distance indicator. So you can see as I get closer, time gets shorter. As I get further away, time gets further away. So it's 12.4 seconds it'll take us to lob shots of you, and 0.1 seconds to hit the water right next to us. So why is that important? Well, it is. So auto aim. See, auto aim put us at about the first dash there. See, we're extending it to about 10 seconds. We're going to get hits, and I'm going to explain exactly how and why we are going to get all of these hits. So there we go. Okay, we didn't do any damage. That's all right. We hit our target, which is the most important thing. So those vertical lines, those little dashes. So right, we'll call them big dashes, the ones going up, little dashes, the ones going down. Big dashes going up indicate about 5 seconds of travel time for a ship doing 20 knots. So we're going to shoot at this Mutsu, assuming that he's not moving at all. So we can see he's moving. So look there, you can see, look, my shells aren't going to hit him. Well, they're gonna safely bounce at the back, because we didn't provide him any kind of lead. So this New Mexico, he's a battleship. He does about 18-20 knots. So we're going to aim exactly 7 seconds, and there we go, 8 hits out of 9 shells. So yes, okay, the DeGrasse is accurate, but I picked the DeGrasse to basically prove a point, and there we go. What was that? 4, 5, 6, another 7 out of 9 shots. And even though we can't see him, we know his location, we know how far away he is, and we're going to score. Alright, not quite as many hits that time, but I think we needed to adjust our lead a little bit. So the Koenig, it says he's 11 seconds away, but the Koenig is kind of fast for a battleship. It does about 20-24, so we give it about 12 seconds lead, and watch where these shells hit. So we do hit him, but they're all at the rear of his ship. So there is an element of knowing exactly how quick a ship is, or how fast you're expecting a ship to go. Back to the New Mexico. So New Mexico's, it's basic. It's actually the perfect target for this aiming reticle. And yeah, as you can see, so what was that, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits out of 9 guns again, taking RNG into account. Now, this DeGrasse does something that highlights something quite important, which is change of speed and even change of direction. So he thinks he's safe there. Our first salvo unfortunately missed, but we aimed right on him, and look, he's backed up, and he's managed to dodge most of our shells, only taking 2. So we fired slightly behind him, and excellently played. He's changed directions, has moved forward. So a big part of aiming is also predicting what you think that ship is going to do next. Now I'm specifically looking for specific types of shots. So this New Mexico's heading towards us, so if we aimed 7 seconds, that's where we should be aiming if he was aiming in a straight line, but he's not. He's coming towards us, so we're going to take some time off that because he's going to be closer, and there we go. We score a solid set of hits. Again, second salvo, and again it says 7 seconds, but he's heading towards us, so we need to reduce that. And again, another solid set of hits. And as you can see, it's saying 7.5. We're aiming at 5 because he's getting closer to us. And again, another solid set of hits. One thing to take into account and remember, so ships getting closer, you need to give them less lead. If a ship's travelling away, answers on a postcard, kids, what do you think we should be doing? Should we be aiming closer? Should we be aiming exactly what it says? Or should we be giving them even more lead? Well, that is the question. So again, see, this DeGrasse is a fast-moving ship, so it says 6 seconds. But, well, you can see we're doing over 30 knots, so we're going to add 50% to that. And, well, there you go. Another pretty solid salvo. Gremiashi's coming towards us. It says 5 seconds. Gremiashi's really fast though, and we were unfortunate to miss there. So what's a Gremiashi do? Up in the 40s. So we're gonna add 100%, and there we go. We score 2 hits on the sneaky little DD. Again, sort of focusing on the fundamentals. So Queen Elizabeth is travelling directly towards us, so we fire our salvo to be well in front of her, directly in front of her, and we should have scored hits with that salvo. He's been a bit of a pain. that DeGrasse, he likes switching speed and switching directions fairly often. So we're gonna this match. Let's be honest, this match is coming to an end. My team did fall apart, and yes, you could possibly blame me, but I think losing a match for the purposes of showcasing exactly how to aim. But unfortunately, we didn't get any kite-in shots, which is what we were looking for in this match. And kaboom, we go. We're dead. But I'm hoping that did highlight the basics and the fundamentals of aiming. Now, the DeGrasse is a very accurate ship. It's got pretty standard shells, so we're going to have a look at something completely different. Apologies for the the scores coming up there. So I'm intentionally picking the Atlanta. Now, why am I picking the Atlanta to highlight the second most part of this? Well, this is about understanding your shells as well. So there's a couple of components to aim in. So there's the speed of the ship that you're firing at. There's the angle of the ship. Is it coming towards you? Is it coming away? There's that to consider. And the third important factor is your shells. Because, as we know, DeGrasse, pretty much standard, run-of-the-mill, good gun handling characteristics, decent, not the fastest shells, not the slowest shells in the world, but all round fairly good. The Atlanta, however, is another kettle of fish at all. The Atlanta probably has, alright, it doesn't have the slowest shells in the game, but particularly at range it has the most floaty shells. So what happens is the turrets leave the muzzle very, very fast, because they are very small, low caliber, fast fire rate guns. But the issue with having small, fast firing guns is the shells are very light. And when a shell is very light, it acts very differently. So this is where the next component of your aiming comes in, which is understanding how your shells fire. Now, this is a problem that I run into quite a lot, because most of you know I don't stick with a particular class of ship. I certainly don't stick with playing individual ships. My most played ship accounts for like 2.5% now of my total battles played. So I'm firing different types of salvos from different guns quite often, so learning to adapt to this is particularly important. Now, if this Nuremberg is sailing directly towards us, doesn't really count, but as you can see, you know, it says 7 seconds, but look, you can see the shells slowly falling in as if they were dropped from a parachute. He's in a turn, he's going slow, so we're reducing, we're predicting where he's going to be, and successfully landing shots. This guy's now, it says he's 8 seconds away. He's coming towards us, so under normal circumstances in the de Grasse we'd be reducing the predicted time, but we're extending it because our shells are slow and they take longer to get there. So firing over islands is just a sort of a skill you tend to learn. It's saying, you know, 2.8 seconds, but that's because it's saying I'm hitting the island 3 kilometers away when I'm not. I'm in fact shooting 7 or 8, 10 kilometers away over the island, so we've got to take that prediction into account as well. So you really do need to understand your ship. Honestly, most of the time when I jump in the Atlanta, I don't play it that often. It's usually been a while, and it usually takes me 3 or 4 salvos to get my eye back in. But you know, if you're not quite as flippant with your ship choices as I am, and you spend a lot of time on a particular line, you will notice and you will learn, is that right? Okay, so I'm using ship X, and ship X has fast firing floaty guns like the Atlanta, and of course it wouldn't be a high video if I didn't crash into an island. So as you can see, they're really slow and floaty, and we completely missed that salvo on the Akatsuki there. Akatsuki's the one with the eye that I always get wrong. But well, nobody's perfect. So I'm still looking for, and we still haven't had the opportunity for that kiting away shot. So that's essentially my focus in this game. I'm not really trying to score damage or get kills or be a useful teammate. I am looking for those opportunities to highlight shots. So that guy's now is slow rolling. So I've aimed at 7 seconds. As you can see, he's moving slow. He's turning in, and I want to hit the center of his ship. So as you can see, I'm advancing my guns to almost 10 seconds, and 10 seconds there I'm starting to get hits on the central superstructure. So this kind of perfectly highlights the fact that you know, you need to adjust your aim depending on your guns because of the colossal difference between the Atlanta and the de Grasse's firing ranges. God damn, that Akatsuki is still he's still there. And Gneiss now is sailing straight towards us, so we're not really giving him any lead. We're pretty much firing directly at him, and again scoring some hits. He's in a turn, so he's slow, so we fire again, and look, it says 7 seconds. Alright, the Gneiss now has been particularly squirrely, and that's more of a case of, you know, predicting exactly what that ship's going to do to score the hits. Not everyone is going to sail in a straight line at all times. Unfortunately, if they did, it would make our jobs very, very easy indeed. So we're gonna try and score some hits on this Akatsuki. We've got an island in the way, so we're trying to predict his distance and where he is. And in all fairness, that was a terrible salvo. I thought that was going to land much, much closer. And as you can see, look, the floaty shells, the distance, he's kiting, or he was kiting away. He has now turned broadside, which means we need to further increase the amount of lead. It's a fast-ish ship, and yeah, see, he's turning away. So we're aiming in front of him and at a slight angle, and still scoring hits. But you've got to extend the lead when they're kiting away. You're expecting them to be further away than, you know, where they are. And there we go. We sink him. Thanks to some purely down to good aiming. Like, you cannot, like I say, I can't stress this enough. A lot of us do. I know I do it quite often. And it's a trap that you can very easily fall into. Which, if you look at a ship, and you tap L1 or left bumper, if you're on Xbox, it'll auto aim onto the ship, which only gives you the basic general direction it is. While that'll hit the middle of the ship if it's doing 20 knots and sailing in a straight line. We're trying to avoid some torpedo bombers, dive bombers there, sorry, and successfully evading them, even though the Atlanta is supposed to have pretty much the best AA guns in the game. This carrier has managed to only lose 2 planes between his first and he's coming in for his second attack run, and he scores a juicy hit, sets a fire, and only loses 1 plane. Balanced. They're not as terrible as they are on PC, but yeah, carriers are a bit of a nuisance. So we're still hunting. We know there's this Nuremberg over here. He's kiting away. We know there's the Miyoko. The Miyoko's doing the smart thing and keeping us completely out of range of our guns at least. And oh, there we go. Nuremberg is in, and see, it says 7 seconds, so we should be adding at least 50% to this, because it's a fast ship. If you look, I'm adding basically 100% because the shells are so slow and floaty on this ship, and we are consistently scoring hits. He's essentially making it pretty easy for us though. And cool guys don't look at ship explosions. Where's that from? Cool guys don't look at explosions. I think it was a meme about 80s action movies. So we've managed to successfully dodge those torpedo bombers. And in all fairness, I think I've rabbited on enough about aiming now. I think we have successfully covered the basics. So obviously, if you've got a gun, a ship with like high velocity shells, oof, yeah, balanced. If you've got a ship with high velocity shells, such as the Roma, the Giulio Cesare, the Ochakov, so they have the sure shot is usually their descriptor. You know, you don't need to give them as much lead because your shells travel so much faster. So it's the exact opposite of what we're doing here today in the Atlanta. So yeah, that's aiming 101 covered. So don't worry, we will go way more in depth with hunting citadels, auto bounces and things like that in future videos. So don't think this is me telling people how to, I don't know, how to peel onions. Everyone knows how to peel onions. This is just more of a gentle reminder, and more so aimed at preparations for the heavier detail that we're going to get to in the future. Because if you can't consistently land shots, you're not going to consistently land citadels. You know, you're not gonna get those 150, 200,000 damage games. If you can't aim. So this is the very fundamentals. Get your fundamentals right and everything else will fall into place, particularly as we get deeper into the series. So thank you very much everyone for stopping by, and until next time, take care.